luminary as Martin Luther King, I might say, but here it goes. Any jurisdiction that doesn't have its own ICAC-type body is just crazy. If you don't have one, you have either discovered a secret to human nature that has eluded the rest of us, or, as is more likely to be the case, you are just kidding yourselves. Create one, you won't regret it. Those are the words of Maurice Yammer, New South Wales Premier, on the 24th of October last year. You know, his jurisdiction doesn't have perhaps the most exemplary ethical standards, but even he knows something Paul Lennon apparently refuses to know. So here in Tasmania, the Premier refuses to acknowledge that such a safeguard against corruption is necessary. And in light of the litany of events that have brought the standards of ethics in governance and in public life in Tasmania into serious question, and the reputation of Tasmania low in the eyes of the nation, it's now prompting further questions about the government's reluctance. What have they got to lose? Or is it, what have they got to hide? The Greens have for years campaigned for openness and accountability of government and for measures to lift standards and enable investigation into claims of wrongdoing. Our election campaign launched for the 2006 state election had a centrepiece, my announcement of our policy to establish an ICAC-style body. I see Mark Rickards in the audience, who's currently standing for us in the Huon election at the Legislative Council, and he also, of course, has that as a plank, and wouldn't it be good to get more support into the Legislative Council for that? Now, there have been a series of inglorious episodes that have followed the 2006 election, and of course there were quite several that preceded it that led us to put it at the centrepiece of the ICAC, at the centrepiece of our policy mix, and those had included the Federal Hotels deal, the Pulp Mill Task Force, and the resources of government being used to put in place public relations and to do a whole lot of the spade work for a private corporation. There was the global value management issue and so on. But now, of course, we've seen the Tasmanian Compliance Corporation scandal that saw the dismissal of first Deputy Premier, Brian Greene, for his mate's deal, and the two Supreme Court trials that failed to resolve the issues around the criminality of what had occurred. And of course it's now culminated in Shreddergate, as it's become known. Along the way, Gunns got an easy fast track for their pulp mill and millions of dollars from public coffers to prop up that proposal, including $300,000 of public money spent on the Premier's obsequious TV ads, spruiking the project before it even had any form of approval. And of course, the independent RPDC became a revolving door of commissioners who outlined government standover tactics and gross interference. And then the shenanigans about the appointment of a magistrate began. I'll put my specs on to read this a little bit. Remember that in August of 2006, a special Roy Morgan opinion poll was published, and it showed that 60% of Tasmanians then said the Lennon government is not effective against corruption. And just over 1 in 10 Tasmanians, and 11%, said the Tasmanian government does not fight corruption, but also encourages it.